Hey y'all, I wasn't going to do a video today, but circumstances have it that I've got nothing better to do at this moment. I have a long commute every morning, and and because traffic in the city is absolutely insane, and I swear people have got death wish at this time of year. For some reason, as soon as the time change, people get stupid when they drive. I mean, it's pitch dark and I see more people cutting in and out of traffic and going crazy. And that's me leaving at odd times. I usually wake up about 4 a.m. I cut out of the house and get moving for my long commute every morning. And even then there's a lot of traffic on the road and they're crazy. And then I leave here. Yesterday I left at 6:30, which usually I leave about 5:30 to 6, but 6:30 p.m. crazy people. I mean, the weaving in and out of traffic, the going 80, 90 miles per hour, and then suddenly up ahead, all traffic comes to a complete stop, and you're locking on your brakes just to keep from barreling into the person. It's intense. So I leave super early. I get here way before anybody else, and this is the second time it's happened to me in the last 6 months. I drop my badge on my desk, and then I step out the office door, and as soon as that door closes, I'm locked out without that badge. So about 30 minutes ago, I asked for security to come let me in. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, though. They can't be bothered, I'm sure. So I'm just hanging out waiting for some regular people to show up. There's one or two guys that get here usually a little after me, and they work out or whatever in the morning. But I'm waiting. So while I'm waiting, I might as well talk about this tech before our time. Remember back in the Mandela effect, uh, the the grand old Mandela effect days when everything was really tossing up and down. The tech before our time videos were coming out, and they're talking about how all this new technology is being introduced into our reality. Never heard of it before, so we were suggesting that, of course, that our timeline's been altered. The Mandela effect is very similar to all this crazy, bizarre stuff that we've never seen before that starts popping into existence all of a sudden. And anyway, so Tony with God Rules channel was really amazed by this. If you can see this, it's talking about television talk station. So in other words, uh, you can speak. Basically, it's Skype. He's saying you could do what, and this is back in 1936. You could do what we do in modern times with Zoom and Skype back in the 30s, 1930s. They had the technology. This is the funny thing. The technology, like a TV, to talk and see the other person, way back then. And so it's a tech before its time kind of video. Here's a person in there just talking to whoever on the other side, and I just thought this reminded me. I think it was Lone Eagle was doing a lot of tech before its time videos, and same type of stuff. He'd find all this crazy stuff that existed way back long ago. This is scooters that are motorized or electric or something. Here's some flying train that he thinks is just, now he's moving into architecture and structures, and he's saying how engineering and architecture was just so much better in the past. And when you look at the pictures of these sites being constructed, there's never any people around. And back then, I guess photography couldn't just take a quick snapshot, but if there was if it was a long exposure time, you'd see some movement down there, some blurring, but I think there's two people standing over here in this picture, but pretty empty streets with all this amazing architecture. And he talks about how the architecture was just simply brilliant, amazing. And I will admit, I mean, architecture from the past, old buildings and that, they do seem to be far more ornate, more sophisticated, longer lasting, better quality than the crap we produce today. It seems like every decade we just keep coming up with cheaper and cheaper crap that just breaks so quickly. But back then we have these magnificent buildings, and then he kind of goes all over the place in this, but he talks about some of these ancient structures that look like they were pretty amazing too, but like this one looks like it was melted down from the top. like some sort of apocalyptic event occurred and it melted down the tops of this structure. And then he goes into Pope Sixtus the Third, 3 6s, and suggests that maybe the second coming already occurred, because this was back in August of 440, so right before the Dark Ages, where there was 1,000 years of just blackout. We have this guy popping up on scene, and of course, the Bible talks about 1,000-year reign and stuff like that. So he's like just speculating if maybe the prophecies, there's a 5,500 year fulfilled that would have been at the time of this guy. So he's just thrown out there. It's like, what if our interpretation of the second coming is completely off? Or what if throughout time there's been multiple versions of this where people were experiencing second coming like events, and there was some sort of matchup and alignment and fulfillment that these things actually occurred. So he goes all over the place. He even talks about, just talking about technology that used to last. Now we've got this great thing of built-in obsolescence, but back in the day, he had a hot water heater that lasted 50 years. I remember an air conditioner for my mother-in-law's house that lasted like that long too. It was insane how long it lasted. Never leaked, never had a problem. It just ran and ran and ran until they finally got rid of it. Now, if you buy things, you've got 3 to 10 years, and it seems like, and it's done. Everything's just crap within 3 to 10 years. But back then, they built things that would actually last. I go to a downtown post office every once in a while, and I'm just amazed at how much engineering it took to build that thing. It's like marble everywhere, super ornate, and the doors, door problems in facilities is constant. They're always breaking. They're just cheap. They break. Nothing lines up ever. They're constantly having problems. But this old post office that was built 100 years ago, that door is solid. It never needs work. It's like, however they engineered it back then, they engineered the thing to, it seals tight all the way around and it works perfectly. It's just crazy, the difference. But so I do acknowledge that things were built better in the past, and now we just build things to be complete crap. But the tech before your time stuff is interesting. In addition to, and this is a kind of a Mandela effect thing, because we're suggesting that stuff that is new to us that we've never heard of before, that there's something a little off there. In the 50 years of life that I experienced before my Mandela effect, I should have known about the narwhal whale and stuff like that, the Rainbow Mountains, all these weird geographic things, all these manned animals, all this tech before its time. Never heard of it. And it's not like I didn't have an interest. I used to watch PBS like crazy. I saw all the nature videos and the animal videos, and I saw the National Geographics, and all that stuff was of interest back then. I should have seen this bizarre, wouldn't the bizarre stuff be like the cover page of the National Geographic? Wouldn't the Rainbow Mountains have been like on the cover page? Wouldn't you want to show this amazing stuff that exists? Wouldn't this technology, this extreme technology, make, some PBS episode for my youth? But it doesn't. It wasn't there. It just never happened. And then there's things in our historical timeline that we say that I would have heard about that, like Nazi Germany making an attack on American soil. That should have made headlines. I should have heard about that. I was heard they never came close to touching us, but there's an actual attack on American soil. Stuff like that. These historical timelines that are just bizarre. And it's because, people in the Mandela effect community are raising all these things up back then that we become aware. And I used to do a series of videos called New to Me, just to say, how is it that I've never heard of this? This is a bizarre timeline. But all in all, it's really strange. I think with reality changing and the bizarreness of this world, there's one thing that we seem to have general agreement on, and there's a certain timeline. If you were to graph it, you'd see like people becoming aware of the Mandela effect around mid mid 2015, it started to ramp up, and then it started to really get to a height at mid 2016 to mid 2017, or even late 2017 into 2018. It's a bell curve there, and it just really peaks out, and everybody's like becoming aware of it, and then it starts tapering down. And the bizarre experience is the seeing buildings move right before our eyes, the quick rapid changing of the world around us, that it starts becoming less and less. And now when you look at Mandela effect videos and what's new, all I really see is stuff that's already been brought up. A lot of people say this is brand new, but it's not. And then there's other things that are just kind of more obscure, and it's not as, mind shattering as mirror on the wall would be. It's not as, epic, but we don't see the same intensity. So there's this timeline, I'd say, between mid 2015 to maybe mid 2018 where things were pretty intense. And then this the slowdown occurs, and it coincides, oddly enough, with CERN. I remember when I had my God experience in 2016, September of 2016, I was like trying to figure out the world around me. And I saw articles with CERN talking about how in September or the fall of 2015, they were going to do something at CERN that they'd never done before. And they were going to apply like power, an amount of power that they never even dreamed of applying. And that this was either going to, destroy everything that exists, or it's going to open up new technology. And then there was even an allusion, or alluding to opening up portals to hell and letting in demonic things from the other side. There was all kinds of crazy stuff. There were the Goddard Tunnel and all that stuff, and those satanic rituals that were around it. And you had CERN never officially admitting that they had any connection to the Mandela effect, and yet on the side there was all these little winks and nods and little types of evidence. There was even that cartoon, that anime that was done after CERN opened. I want to say somewhere between 09 and 13, this anime came out. I can't remember the name of it. I did a video on it once, and it got pulled because I shared a clip from it. But it was the Mandela effect, and it was connecting it to CERN. It was saying CERN was the reason for realities being altered in timelines and all that stuff. So it's just crazy. You anime fans probably know the video, but all the different connections which were just dangled in front of us, and it was like, how can it? And then the most frustrating thing, you try to tell anybody in your family and friends, just to even take a quick passive look at this. Just look, just take a look, just see what they won't even look. They just wrote you off as crazy. They won't even take 15 minutes to look at it. So it's like you bang your head against the wall and say, I give up. Eventually you start giving up. I've definitely given up completely. I've given up all concern. I was thinking about how, like, if this reality were a play, like think about an old theater, and we're all sitting together in the audience and we're watching this theatrical performance play out before us, and between each act, they have everybody come out, they do the little thing, they get the audience all riled up. It's very interactive, this play. And then they close the curtains, they go back behind the scene. We are like the people in that audience, but all we get to see is what is presented to us on that stage. What's really going on is behind the curtain, but we don't see that. We don't see them changing costume and getting the props and the setup and changing. We don't get to see the stage change. They close the curtains and they do all that stuff, and then they open them up and they present them to us again, and it's always even more sensational, more radical, more wild. So, that's what we keep seeing. We keep seeing all these amazing performances. Maybe this reality is an entertainment matrix simulation. Maybe it's for our entertainment. It's a little too intense for me, because it seems to me like the level of engagement and intensity of the entertainment's a little over the top. But the performances between, breaks, between curtains closing and opening up again, it seems like the performances keep getting more and more intense, because they have to get intense to keep our attention. And I mean, I look at my youth and the performances that were displayed before me. They're nothing compared to what they are now. They're just so bizarre now. So, but I've gotten to where I'm noticing other people in the audience are getting irritated by the performance. Like they're not engaged anymore. They're even shouting out boos, and they're throwing banana peels on the stage, and they're like, give me something better than this. This isn't fun anymore. And I've gotten to where I kind of chimed in with them a little bit with my boos and my throwing of banana peels and saying, this is BS. But now I've just gotten to where I'm bored. The curtain can open again and some new things come out, and I'm just turning my head around, kind of looking where the exit is, and can I cut out of here early, or would my friends and families and peers that are around me, would they mind if I cut out because it's getting a little boring to me? I mean, they're still throwing the banana peels on the stage, or they're still, wide-eyed with amusement and saying ooh ah, and they're loving it like a fireworks display. I've got those people around me, and yet I'm turning my head saying, hey, can I sneak out the back? Can I really don't care. I mean, the curtain can open tomorrow, and uh, aliens come down and say, hey, we're here to we're talk or take you over. I mean, anything can happen tomorrow, and I honestly would not even rise to attention anymore. It's gotten to be so ridiculous that Mork from Ork could make an appearance, and I'd be done. I don't care. It's gotten to be just ludicrous in every sense of the word, but it does draw me in. The the stage has the ability to draw me in when it comes to I've got the attachment to the play when it comes to very personal things like this obligation I feel as a family man to take care of the kids and see them have something of a successful life and not have to have the wage slave misery that I've had in life. I try to set them up so when that ability to provide for them is threatened and taken away, I do get a little hot and bothered. So the stage and the act of that play does get me involved a little bit when it comes to that. But thankfully, my youngest biological son is going to be graduating from his school next month. We will be by the end of this year finished with a lot of the financial obligations there. He will be set up, and it's amazing, as with an engineering degree, the job offers he's getting are just not as high as I would have thought they would have been. I thought that he would be, getting a more substantial offer, but even in engineering, it's not. Maybe after 3 years and he tests for his professional engineer, the PE distinction, maybe then it gets better. But it's really sad that kind of sacrifice and that amount of time in school and work that the offer is as pathetic as what it is. It's just there's a disconnect between what things cost these days and what people are making. So it's very very much a slave labor environment. That's just my opinion, but I wasn't too pleased with the offer he's getting. I don't know how people are gonna be able to buy houses in the future. I don't you got to have two people working. It's just impossible to get by if you don't. It's So if this is an entertainment simulation, there's a lot about it it's really not that entertaining. There's a lot about it that's just making me want to look for the exit sign and dodge out the back because I'm ready to sneak out of this thing and be done. But there is all that interesting stuff to observe. Again, sorry, just quick video because I've got time. I'm about to go for a walk because nobody's coming to let me in, and we'll catch you later. God bless.